Hi Mama, welcome to this video for the 6th week postpartum. I hope you're feeling well. I hope in the last 5 weeks you have managed to rest up, recover a little bit. Hopefully your body is starting to recover and you're starting to slowly find your new mama rhythm. Let's talk in this video about what is happening to baby and what is happening to mama. What are the developmental milestones of baby? Let's start with that. So the super exciting thing is that your baby is now showing a lot of social engagement, and that happens mainly through smiles. So it's super rewarding. Between the 5th to 8th week, your baby will start smiling, and usually around the 6th week this does happen. So they might smile at you when you're looking at them, when you're doing some interaction face to face. They might smile, give a little smile when they hear your voice, or when they're content after a feed. So this is super nice. One thing that you can do, which is a very nice kind of activity, is to stand with your baby both facing forwards in front of a mirror. And then the baby will see themselves, although they don't recognize themselves, they think it's another baby, and they'll see you. And it's a super nice activity. You can then talk to them, look at each other, and see the reactions that your baby gives you to the things that you tell them, and also to your smiley face. Their vision is sharpening, so they will be able to focus for slightly longer periods on your face, as an example, or on high contrast images. So an activity that you can do when they are awake is to show a high contrast image and gently and slowly move it from one side to the other side, and your baby will then be moving their eyes and their head. And then also you can go up and down. So this way you can train slightly their neck and their vision. That's a super nice activity that you can do with them. You can do a similar activity with a rattle. So to test then and train, so to say, the hearing, and you can rattle the rattle at one side, and then the baby will most probably turn their head towards that side, and you can rattle the rattle on the other side, and they'll be turning their head to the other side as well. So a few nice activities that you can do with your baby which help them with their development. So the sight, we said, the hearing, as well as moving the neck, so strengthening the neck muscles. Another super important activity that you can do with your baby, or even should do in every wake window, is tummy time. So whenever they are awake and content, happy after they have been fed and changed their diaper, then do some tummy time. Tummy time is super important, as this is the basis for the next milestones. So for pushing themselves up into all fours, and then crawling eventually, sitting and walking. Your baby will recognize your voice, and if they hear your voice coming from a certain side of the room, they'll most probably look towards that side and see if they can see you if you are close enough. They might also respond with a little smile there as well. And speaking of voice development, this is also happening to your baby. So hopefully your baby has now started to verbalize themselves as well, not just through cries, but also through some other sounds. We call it cooing. So they might be making the ooh or the ah sound. So listen to your baby. If they do a little sound like that, you can respond to them in the same way. And that way you'll teach your baby that you are hearing them, and don't overtalk them or talk while they are cooing and oohing, but give them a little bit of time, so they can say something and then wait, and then you can respond to that, and you can have your first little conversation, which is so cute. So like we said, tummy time is super important. This will strengthen their bodies, their back muscles, their neck muscles, as well as their arms, to then start pushing themselves away. And your baby in the 6th week, at the 6th week mark, will be able to hold their head up slightly longer. They will be able to move their head from one side to the other, and they'll be able to hold their head up slightly longer. In the 6th week, there is a growth spurt. So your baby often. They might be cluster feeding in the evening. They might also be, because of this growth spurt, they might be more agitated and more unhappy and more fussy. The peak of fussiness happens around weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, and then hopefully it gets better. So this is something absolutely normal, and it is because your baby is waking up to the world, and they're growing a lot, they're growing fast. So this requires a lot of energy from them, and they're waking up, so they're realizing more things and seeing more things and wanting to focus and interact more. And this is extremely, extremely tiring for them. So they might get overstimulated and might get overtired. And this then results in this fussiness and crying. But it is a good sign because it means that your baby is going through the first cognitive leap. So like we said, they are awake more, they are alert more, they will be more curious. They will want to focus on you and listen to you for longer. They'll be fascinated by lights and by windows and high contrast images. So it is a cognitive leap, so that's super exciting. And one more thing that is happening, which is super important between baby and most probably mama, if you are the one taking care of them most often, or if the other partner is equally often around, then bonding deepens between these parties. So your baby will be able to recognize you by sight, by smell, by voice. They will love being cuddled and touched and caressed. They love these little caresses on their cheeks, so do that, and obviously do cuddle them a lot. They love the rocking as well as singing and talking to them, and all of this calms them down. Baby wearing and using a baby carrier is also recommended, because that as well, they'll be able to feel the closeness of you, smell you, and they get this rocking motion as well as you're going for a walk, for example. So this is something that you can incorporate in your day-to-day life. Let's move on to mama. What is happening to mama at 6 weeks? So you should not be bleeding anymore. You might have some spotting when it comes to the vaginal discharge. That is because your uterus should have healed by now, and that wound shouldn't be open anymore. The pelvic floor is still healing, so the pelvis and the pelvic muscles have been strained over pregnancy and in the birthing process. So healing does take time for these muscles, and to help them heal and recover, you could start, if you haven't yet, you could start doing some gentle pelvic floor activities. I've been doing weekly activities that you can start when you are comfortable in doing these. So there's already some very, very simple exercises in week 1 that I was doing in the first week postpartum, and in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th. So if you haven't done anything yet, start with week 1 and then progress carefully throughout the next weeks. But if you feel that you are strong and you are up for doing some activities, then check out those videos. Feeding the baby is more predictable. However, there'll be multiple feeds during the day and during the night. So therefore you will still be exhausted from this. It does take a lot of energy from mama, and especially these night feeds that happen throughout the night. They are very tiring, especially that the baby can then stay up longer than just for the feed. They can stay up for an hour or even 2 hours. This will also pass. It's just a phase, but therefore, the fogginess, the tiredness, the fatigue is very, very real. And having not slept now for 6 weeks, even one single night for longer stretches than a few hours is definitely taking the toll on you. So you will feel physically tired, you will feel mentally tired, and you will feel this mental load as well, because on the one hand it is 6 weeks already postpartum, so your body will have recovered already quite a bit. On the other hand, You will also feel, because you have a little bit more energy, maybe you would like to start doing more around the house. You would like to go back to your normal self. However, that's easier said than done. So be aware of that, give yourself the time. There's absolutely no rush to jump into household duties. If you can get some help, do get some help. If you can rest during the day when baby's sleeping, also definitely take a nap in that time. Your hormones are still shifting. You will be feeling ups and downs, emotional swings, and for some people, they might start seeing the signs of postpartum depression around week 6 or anxiety. Be aware of that. If you are super anxious, super sad, don't want to get out of bed, don't want to take care of baby, are extremely exhausted, talk to your healthcare provider and seek help. And talk to your partner, talk to your family, get some help from the external world, and do not deal with this alone. You are doing so much already. So having said that, emotional and identity changes continue. You will on the one hand feel a deeper bond with your baby. Your confidence as a mother is going to keep increasing. But again, like we said, the pressure to go back to normal and start helping with everything like you did before is also there. So it's a huge mental load that you are carrying. So be aware of that and take a step back and don't rush into things and just take the time to figure it out. You are still healing, you are still learning each other, you and your baby, you in the new role as the mother. It doesn't matter if it's your first, second or third. It's always a new relationship. In addition to the family, it changes the dynamics with the family, with your partner. So you're learning, you are adapting. And the recovery is ongoing. It takes weeks, if not months, for you to feel comfortable, confident, and back to your normal self or back to your new self. So this is something that you also have to figure out. And the mental well-being and physical well-being of you, mama, is so important because your baby relies entirely on you. So do take care of yourself. You're doing an incredible and amazing job. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for joining the video. Check out the postpartum exercise videos as well. Hopefully they'll help you as well feel a bit stronger and more stable in your postpartum body. And subscribe to the channel to support me. Thank you and take care. Bye.